Hello and good evening. I'll just make sure everything's working and get out of the way. I see we've got a few people watching in chat already. Excuse me. Still can't get rid of this last bit of the cough. Hopefully I'm here and you can hear me and see me. I'm assuming you can see me because, I'm here. The seeing bit normally works fine. It's the voice I had trouble with on Sunday. I don't know what happened there. If you're watching the Warhamster stream on Sunday, then I can only apologise that I was very quiet, apparently. I didn't do anything. Fox came into a hangout and helped me try and work through problems and stuff afterwards, and it was all fine. We don't know. I moved the mic very slightly, like 6 inches, to get it in a better position for when I'm at the bench there, and it might have, the cable somewhere, maybe something. I don't really know, but either way, I'm here. Hopefully you're here. Let me know in the chat that I can see there that I'm visible and audible. If not, I'll play around again with the settings and see what I can do. But it's telling me that the little wave things are moving. So apparently it can hear me. So I hope you can hear me. Other than that, it's, what day is it? Thursday. It's Thursday night. So it's an evening with me and the gang, or maybe just me again. I don't know if the gang are all busy or doing other things or not in from work yet or anything, but Joanna Hound's in. Evening. Been a long time since I last said hello. Hello. I'll go back through the chat and see who's here. First one in, obviously, was Pascal, like a month ago. Then we've got Sergeant Bones in again, 44 minutes before I started. They're having a talk. Pascal's got a exam tomorrow, so good luck with that, Pascal. I'm sure you'll ace it. You'll be fine. You'll no worries at all. That was that. That's me. They're me, Sergeant Bones, and Pascal talking. George Gabriel came in, one of my patrons. Thank you. He's got to go off for an interview now. Probably he probably won't see this because he's already gone. But good luck with that. I'm sure you'll be fine with that, George. Oh, he said it's about. I saw it. I saw something there. Oh, it's for a software company that makes agricultural software to help farmers. Can I say you're a farmer? You can say I'm a farmer by all means. If anybody asks me about farm stuff, I might not be able to answer. But yeah, drop my name. It might work. You never know. They won't have heard of me. But yeah. Sergeant Bones was asking, can someone give me an idea for tea? Can't decide what I want to eat. So anyone got any suggestions for Sergeant Bones' tea tonight? Jamie Bones in. Evening, Jamie. Let's see what we got going through here. Sergeant Bones, George, Pascal. So Joanna, I already said that. Oh, Chris Campling's in. Hi, everyone. Hi, Chris. Lord Barkley III's in. Evening, peeps. Osric 9000 saying hello. And John Paul's in saying hi. All snowing here again. Is it? We had one little bit of snow over the winter, and then it went away. It's been very cold today, but no snow. Whereabouts are you, John? You might have mentioned it, but I forget. I don't know. Sergeant Bones says Benetton would be good. Their F1 cars are not bad. Always have cartographed decals too. I don't know what we're talking about. Is that the new Revel stuff that's being released? Oh, John's in Canada. So yeah, they get weather there. I hear. They had snow there when I was there. About 6 years ago now that I've been there, but yeah, it gets snowy there. So good luck. Keep warm. Wrap up, and you'll be fine. Sounds fine tonight, says Bones. Thank you. I don't know. We'll see what it's like on Sunday. Hopefully, the link will work on Sunday as well, because I think we've got that sorted as well. So on Sunday night, we'll find 8 o'clock. As I like 8 o'clock. It's good. It's enough time for me to get in from work, get some food, get some little bit of rest, watch a bit of telly, and then I can do this. And then when this finishes, if it's just me, it'll probably be an hour again, or hour and a half, depending on how things go. After that, I've still got time to go and play a little bit of Xbox before I go to bed. So it's a good time for me. It works. Why is that being held for review? That's not strange. Chris is saying he's not happy about YouTube's new policy about no live streams via phones or tablets unless you've got 1,000 subs. Yeah, I did hear about that, but we think, I know it was on your Facebook or one of the groups. We think it's to do with that the streaming of the massacre thing, the shooting in New Zealand that obviously was broadcast briefly through YouTube. So they sort of have to be seen to do something about it, don't they? They can't just say, oh yeah, it's okay, it won't happen again, it'll be fine. So they don't want everybody out the gate just to be able to do that. But 1,000 is probably too far. Well, they should have made it 100, the same as getting a name. Once you've got 100 subs and you can get your own URL, then that's the sort of thing that you should do. So you're not going to get 100 subs overnight just for going out and doing something, but it's not quite as attainable. No, it's more attainable than the 1,000. The 1,000 is a noteworthy milestone. I remember fondly watching the ticker going over and getting to my 1,000 subs. That was great. But yeah, I see they've got to do something. And Sergeant Bones is singing "Oh Canada," yeah, because John mentioned Canada. Yeah, so yeah, it's not great, not ideal, but say you can still stream with a camera setup, which, to be honest, you're better off doing anyway. Streaming through a phone or an iPad is not ideal. The quality's not great, and the sounds are often not great. So yeah, get set up. Chris says he only needs another 647 subscribers. So yeah, if you like the sort of stuff that I'm doing with the Terminator and that, go and follow Chris. He's building the same thing. So go and follow. You can click on the little buttons and follow and do stuff like that. So yeah, there you go. Joanna's saying don't agree with the content that was published, but also don't agree with censorship either. Yeah, I mean, it's not so much censorship. I think it was just to stop other people potentially doing the same thing. Because if you just sign up with a fake throwaway email address and get a YouTube channel, you can still stream from a computer, from a laptop, whatever. There's a ways around it, but it's making it that little bit more difficult again. Instead of just putting out your phone and doing whatever straight away, then it puts that little bit more difficulty before you can do that. So yeah, don't know. Yeah. They're talking about new Revel kits. There's new Revel kits being released apparently. I haven't got a problem with Revel. I've got many Revel kits. I have built many Revel kits. There's this one there. Look, that was the Fair Play Tug, or both of them are Revel kits. Most of the time, they're no trouble at all. There's occasional kits that are serious problems, and they do seem to not so much cut corners, but some kits aren't as good as they should be. Some of the Star Wars range they do are more toys than kits that, yeah, they could have worked harder and made them better. But, all in all, if they didn't make it, someone else would do something similar, but they might as well, if you don't like it, don't buy it. They do some nice cars, I think, is their thing. Planes are okay as well, I think. Joanna's saying the problem is, where do you draw the line between covering a live story and promoting something? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to make the decisions. It's always going to be tough. So yeah. Pascal's having an exam in data science. That's what it is. Yeah, you got to do it on paper as well. It's really strange. It's like a highly computerized exam type thing, and they're making you do it on paper instead of on a computer. I don't know. Is that to stop cheating and things, or is it just all my exams were done on paper because that was how things were done back in the day. But now I assume most things are obviously done computers and online. It makes it easier for them to grade them and things, doesn't it? So Jonah hasn't been modelling. Hand still not functional enough, just cramps up. That's not good. That was that 6 months ago you had that problem? Yeah. It's been a while, but yeah, I mean, obviously you're always welcome to join in the chats and streams and things. But yeah, that is I assume it's physio and things, but it's just going to take time, I assume. But good luck with it. Hope you're recovering, admittedly slowly, but recovering. Yeah, it's me. If any of the gang aren't, and I haven't seen any mods in chat, so I hope you behave yourselves. You'll be all right. I'm keeping an eye on it, so it'll be fine. Surgery was back in June last year. Oh, that was even longer ago than I thought. That's right, that's like 10 months ago, isn't it? That's, yeah, not good. Oh, right. Pascal says they always DDoS, denial of something, denial of service. I can't remember what the first D is or the second D, but yeah, it's like a flooding it with information so the computer breaks down. They always DDoS the school network before exams and stuff. Now we do it on paper. Right, now it makes sense because, yeah, they have to do it on paper. It's hard to do a denial of service on paper. They'd have to just post stuff a lot, I think. I don't know. So, what have you all been doing? Did you find something to eat, Sergeant Bones? What have you decided on? Have you gone to cook it? You're probably not here. You're already in the kitchen. But if you are about, let us know what you're having to eat. Food's always a good talk on any stream. On the Monday night one, we end up with food and TV, so why not? What are you eating? T90 still sat on the desk waiting to be finished. I haven't put any of it away to remind myself it must be done. Yeah, it's often the way. You just have to leave it there and it will gently remind you and prod at you occasionally. Bradley Season, greetings. And Swinging Pigs says evening all. Sergeant Bones is having mash and sausages with sauerkraut. Yeah, probably work, I would guess. Jamie Bones says, what's on your bench and what's on your belly? Yeah, wait a minute. It's in your belly, not on. I don't want to know. Yeah. I had lamb grill steaks tonight. They were quite nice. Enjoyed them. Nice. And on my bench, I have. Oh, you can see what I've been doing just before I went live. The Tug diorama is progressing. I've built it and just sprayed it in grey primer. It's rough looking. I haven't done anything at all around the back and the sides and things. It's not. I might put something around there at some point, but I just wanted to get some colour down onto it. I deliberately left it a bit rough around the edges, and I'm not going to pick it up because it might still be wet. I do need to fill in some edges a bit more. I couldn't really tell while it was all, in foam core and not primed. But some bits up here that I need to tidy up as well. So I'll get some more PVA laid down on that once this paint's dry. And then I can see about painting the bottom floor bit to be more bottom of river canal-y type thing. And then I can see about putting the Mod Podge that I'm going to use to make the water in there. And once that's started, that really feels like I've started. So I'm looking forward to that. Right. Johanna says that the Titanic is still in its box behind the T90. Another reminder, get it done. Looks like you need a bigger spray booth. No, it's just the right size. Look, it turns round as well. It fits. It's lovely. It wasn't made to be specifically the right size for the spray booth, but it worked out that it was, so I'm happy with it. It's fine. Still, thanks for the airbrush help. Already won some prizes after I learned airbrushing. Good, yeah. Airbrushing is always fun. It's great. I know Fox has drifted away from airbrushing back to brush painting, but when you're doing something like that to get the primer on, you got to airbrush it. I'm going to be airbrushing most of it anyway. Obviously, when you get fine details, you need brushwork and stuff like that, but most of it's going to be airbrushing. Joanna's been keeping herself busy, just creating music. Oh, that's quite nice. At least it only requires one hand. Good. I think Jamie's just subscribed to John. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know what it's like. Everybody subscribe to everybody and watch their stuff. It's great. It's no good just subscribing and then going away and never watching videos, because YouTube notice things like that, and eventually they'll go through and say, "You've subscribed, but you never watched it. We're going to unsubscribe you or cancel it off or not count it or something." So there's this sub for sub sort of thing doesn't work. It's against YouTube's terms and conditions anyway, so I wouldn't promote that. But if you're in the same group, you're watching my stuff, you probably like what I do because you're watching it, hopefully. Most of the people that watch it do similar things, so you're probably going to enjoy it, so you might as well subscribe to them and see what they're doing. John loves airbrushing, so does my son. And yeah, so anything you want to talk about, anything you want me to talk about, or I would say ask me, but I don't know anything, so there's not much point in asking me questions, not deep and meaningful questions anyway. But yeah, anything going on, anything happening, let me know. And if any of the gang happen to be around and want to come in and join me, feel free, or say don't. Hopefully I've got enough drink to keep me going if I'm going to be talking myself for the next hour or so. John says, I like watching all kinds of builds. You never know what you can learn. Exactly the same, yeah. I don't know of any other channels that sort of, if you can call it, specialise in 144 scale stuff that I tend to do. But it doesn't matter what scale it is. All the techniques are basically the same. If you're building anything, you can build anything. So just watch as much as you can and absorb some of it and use some of that. It sort of trickles down. If you watch enough, then you'll learn a little bit of that, and then you can use a little bit of that, and eventually everyone gets a bit better. So, you know, still waiting for you to bake something that has this is a cooking channel, isn't it? No, we talk about food, but don't really do any cooking myself. I mean, not cook a bit, but not exactly professional chef like. There's a couple of people around that do proper cooking, but yeah, Paul's good at cooking. Bradley C says, what's the initiation into the gang? Right, yeah, that's a good question, really. There isn't one. The Gross Gang is a group of, I don't know, last count, I think there's about 20 people in it, but the core group that talk are in a few other groups and that around. But it's just people that I've encountered throughout model making groups and the Boom Hut and everything else, and that sort of share my interest and humor, and yeah, people that I get along with. So yeah, I started with a few people, and I've gradually introduced a few more people into it as time goes by. And there will undoubtedly be more as time goes by, even further. So, you know, if you'd like to join the gang, give me a shout. Let me know. I always keep an eye on, you know, modeling videos and chat and stuff. Mainly the Boom Hut, because that's, you know, where most things happen. But yeah, give me a shout. I'll pay more attention to your work. Let me know. You can give me a shout in chat or through you know, Facebook and YouTube and everything, or even email grossmodels@gmail.com. You'll find me there. I see there was something that was there and then it was retracted. I don't know what it was, or Barkley, but I didn't get a chance to read it before you retracted it. I may have accepted it. You never know. The chat is open to anything you want to talk about, anything in there, not a problem. You can't post links unless you're a mod, but you can post anything. If it gets held for review, then me, or I've just noticed Colin's just popped in to say hello. Hi, Colin. You're welcome to join in if you're up to it. If you're not, don't feel obliged, but you're there. And yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, if it gets held for review, it's not me that's holding it for review, it's YouTube, because it might have something that doesn't fit their terms of service or whatever, or they might thought it was a swear word or something. But most of the time I'll approve them and they'll go through anyway, so feel free to type it in again. But you got knowledge spelt wrong. Okay, yeah, knowledge is always tricky. I don't like knowledge. Sergeant Bo says, I would join you, but I'm back and forth from the kitchen. Well, I haven't invited you to the gang quite yet. I'm keeping an eye on you, Bones, but you know, it's likely that you'll be hearing from me at some point. But Sergeant Bones is saying, "Oh, Colin, Red Lynn's in saying evening, Chris and gang." Joanna Hammond says, Lord Barkley didn't retract for me, can still see it. That's interesting. I don't know how that works. That's very strange. Osric 9000 says, until about 3 years ago, I was still brush painting with Humbrol enamels. Facepalm. Yeah, when I started doing this, which was probably about 4 years ago, I was brush painting with Tamiya, because that's what I'd always done. didn't know any better. I knew that airbrushes were a thing, but I didn't think they were for me and everything else. So I was brush painting with Tamiya. It's only when I sort of got more into it and started thinking, yeah, I could try that. Paul glued to the sprue, got an airbrush, and I popped around and tried it and sprayed it and thought, yeah, it's easier than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was a more professional sort of thing. But so yeah, then I ordered one and picked one up, and I've been using it ever since. Not well, but learning. So yeah, it gets there. Skullfish is in evening all. Pascal was saying it was the same as Osric about 3 years ago, brush painting. Yeah. That's me rushing spelling with one finger. This is Lord Barkley. Okay. Slam the Yanks hopes. Who's what? Hopes? Where? Slam? What? I don't know. Yes. So, oh right, that was saying that you might be part of the gang. You might. You don't know. Keep. The trouble with my initial thought with creating the gang was to bring in a few people that were outside of the normal groups, shall we say, because there are a few groups going around, as there still are now, of different people that get on and chat and hang out and things together. But I wanted to be a little bit more sort of widespread than that, so I invited in Steve and Chris from building the R2 and things like that weren't in any of the groups around, and now we've got John in as well, that weren't in any of the other close-knit groups, shall we say. But I thought I'd spread it out a little bit further, but I don't really want to become, well, obviously not all-encompassing. No point in having everybody in, because that's just too far out. But I don't have any admissions policy or anything like that. But as things go on and as things happen and evolve and grow, then I'll invite more people in. Joanna never did the brush painting stage. You started with an airbrush, did you? Oh, that's interesting. I thought brush painting was the way everybody started, because it's just brush painting. It's painting as you did at school and with a brush. It's just doing it on models instead of rather than anything else. But you must still be using brushes a bit. You can't airbrush everything. You must use brushes for detail work or anything like that. So how did you not start off doing that? But it's interesting. It's good. I've seen some of the work that people do with, say, brushes and airbrushes, and some of it still amazes me as to how good it is. But there we go. Right, that's the chat up to date. So yeah, Lord Barkley says 80s TV knowledge. Oh, that's where you spent knowledge from. I've got you. I understand now. Colin came in as an ex-custom motorcycle painter. Yeah, well, that would have all been airbrushing. Well, not airbrushing, but industrial airbrushing sort of thing. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Joanna did the Star Destroyer straight in, airbrushed, brush for detail and dry rub, etc. Yeah, I remember the Star Destroyer back in the day. Yeah, because you just went out and bought all of the stuff, didn't you? It's like, I'm going to buy this, and this, and build a huge Star Destroyer as my first kit. It came out really well. So, yeah. Right, so what should we do now? I've got the tugs, because I've obviously had to move things around to get to the spray booth and do things there. Oh, the other thing that I've been doing more recently is the Terminator. We have the top of an arm. I think the right arm. I don't remember if they said what arm it was, but yeah, this is mainly metallic. The joint is plastic, which is interesting. I'm not sure how well it's going to put up. It's fairly substantial, but it's still plastic and it's fallen off. I haven't screwed it all together fully yet, because I still need to go back and tidy up the smaller piston. I've polished down and got rid of the grind lines and things like that and tidied it up. The bigger one, I haven't done that yet, so I do need to get it apart and get that modification, I was going to say, but that's not a word, in Terminator land. I also have the head that obviously has been done for a short while. We've got the neck attachment, which actually goes in under there like that, and this is movable to give the head posability. And we have the lower jaw, which again needs a bit of work, a little bit of polishing up, because it's better than the original faceplate, but it's still not quite there. So I do need to tidy that up a bit. And the teeth are not glued in yet; they're just sort of pushed in, because I'm not sure about them yet. For some reason, they've designed it with an odd number of teeth, and there's one middle tooth, which isn't a thing in people, in any people, I don't think, but it does make it fit together quite nicely when they're together, and it's not overly noticeable, but it is sort of noticeable, especially now it's been noticed. Everyone looks for it and sees it. So I'm considering removing that center tooth and spacing the others out so it fits better, so they're, you know, lined up to the top tooth again. But I'm not sure. I think my first step is going to be to separate at least those first 3 teeth, possibly the others as well, to single teeth, and see how they go together and how they fit together and how they look when they're together. Because then if they're just separated, then I can still put them exactly like that, or I can remove that one and reshape them and respace them and see how it looks. So yeah, they obviously need weathering and a little bit of painting as well, the same as the top ones, to match in. So I've done the 3 issues that I got, 4, 5 and 6. So we're actually 5% of the way through the build now. Excuse me. So yeah, what I've done with the first issue, I then did some modifications to the first issue, and then I had 2 and 3 delivered and did some modifications to those in a separate video. So now I've got 4, 5 and 6. I'm going to do one video covering the 3 of those with the modifications to the bits with the piston and the tooth. I don't think the middle neck bit, there's much that I can really modify or want to modify with it yet. But say it will just be, and then when I get the next 4 issues, which will be 7, 8, 9 and 10, which hopefully will turn up in about 3 weeks, I'll do one video for each of those issues, which will be the short, 10-minute video for each one. And then I'll do another video of the 4 of any tidying up or modifications on that. That seems to work quite well, because then I can get the videos out quite quickly. And then in the month-long wait before the next video, next batch arrive, I can do halfway through there or whatever another video, just to keep the playlist ticking over and hopefully keep a bit of interest there. So let's have a look. Can't do spoilers. What are spoilers? I don't know. Skipped Hello World. Oh right, the classic 80s program. 10 Brent, Hello World. 20 go to 10. Yeah. Bradley says, Chris, got any tattoos? Nope. Never felt the need. Never bothered. Yeah, I don't like needles, so no. Tattoos isn't a thing that I would think about or bother with. But no, I've seen some very nice tattoos, but yeah, not for me. Is that another D'Agostini? I think that's the right thing. It's Hachette, as Jamie Bone says. Yeah, it's similar. There we have issue 5. So Hachette, it's down there somewhere. Studio Canal. I don't know who they are. It is Hachette. It does say somewhere. There we go. That's who it is. Hachette artwork. It is another similar 1 a week thing, but being that you subscribed, I subscribe to it. They send out 4 every 4 weeks. So yeah, the magazine's quite nice. It's obviously not full of information. It's quite a thin one, but this is issue 5, which, as I say, was the neck bit. It just shows you the bits you've got and shows you where they go. Let me grab a different magazine, because that shows you better. issue 6, which has on the back of issue 5, tells you it's the jaw and the teeth and the nose bit, the little top of the nose thing. When they show you in the magazine, they quite nicely show you the bits you've got in red, so you can actually see where it all fits together. When it's bits for the arm or whatever, it's quite cool to see, you know, oh, it's that bit, that's how it goes together, that's where it fits into the overall everything. So yeah, the teeth, as you can see in the picture there, come with sort of 2 back ones stuck together, 2 front ones stuck together, and 3 very front ones stuck together. I don't know why they, as far as I can tell, in all of the pictures and the artwork on the front, for instance, he hasn't got 1 tooth sticking in the middle. So I'm not sure where they got the idea that that's the best way of doing it, or that's the way of doing it, or that's how faces work. They seem to be a little bit confused about that. But yeah, the first few pages of the magazine show you how to put together the parts that you've got this time. And then it goes into a bit of sci-fi cinema legends, they call it. This one's about Blade Runner. I haven't read it, but it's just got a few pictures and some words about how the robots work in that particular thing. Real world science. This one's about skin grafts, skin transplants, and artificial flesh. And that's it. So yeah, you don't buy it for the magazine, shall we say? But the little red pictures are very interesting. That's the first issue. Not the first issue. The first of these 3 issues that I've got to hand here. There you go. So with the arm, so it's showing this is what you're going to be dealing with this week. So then you can see exactly what you're doing. So next time is going to be quite interesting. We're getting so a bit more for the top of the arm. And I've seen some people have got 7. So they've actually shown pictures of the back of 7, which is what's coming in part 8, which is going to be the palm of the hand. We've got a finger already. So this is a palm of the hand and a thumb, I believe. So it'll be interesting to get some more scale together and see. It's half scale, so it's going to be half of normal real size. But it's going to be quite interesting to see that. Johannes says, I like the concept of how they spread the cost, but the waiting would drive me insane. Yeah, the spreading the cost is the main thing. Because it's, as a model, I wouldn't go out and buy it for X amount of pounds because it's quite expensive. But at the cost of, I think it's £1.20 a day or something, it's much more manageable. And you get the fun of building it. And you know that it's yours, you know how it goes together, you know it works properly. So the Falcon, I really enjoyed doing. I wasn't making videos then, so there aren't any video diaries of doing that. The R2, again, I only started a third of the way through it to make videos, so there's 60 or 70 videos of each issue of that. But I've really enjoyed doing it and knowing how it all goes together, how it fits together, and being able to put your own personal spin on it. Like I say, the teeth, the weathering, the eye sockets, and little additions and modifications you can make as you go along. So yes, if you'd subscribe, you get them all at once, and it's an hour or 2, maybe, depending on the issue, of building the 4 parts and then sitting around for a month. But there's still stuff you can do. You can, let's say, do the modifications and tidy it up and weather it and things like that. And soon it all builds up and you get something that actually is impressive at the end. So the R2 felt like it was taking forever. You'd put together a bit of an arm, bit of a leg, and then you'd do exactly the same again with the other leg. So this is going to be the same with obviously the arms. We're building an arm, and then in 6 months, a year, wherever, we're going to get exactly the same bits again, but reversed to do the other arm, and we'll be doing the same thing again. Probably, you'll probably get the same parts in the same issues, But by the time you get to that, it got something else together. You'll probably have the shoulders that you can put the arms onto, and it does come together. I'm always wondering about what they're going to put in the last issue. In R2, it was the power supply, the mains adapter, so you could actually, until the last issue, you couldn't turn him on and make him work as one unit. I always thought the Falcon was going to be like the the radar dish on the top. There's one thing that it obviously started with the cockpit, but that seemed like an ideal place to finish it. But they didn't. They finished with, I can't remember now, with a remote for operating the electronics or something. So I assume it's going to be the remote for operating the electronics on this one that's going to be the last issue. But it's always interesting because they don't want to. The first issue's got to be enough to draw people in, make them want it. So it's the faceplate, the eyes, making it sort of look like that. But you can't then do the next 2 issues and finish the head, because far too many people are just going to say, "Oh, just get it for the head," and there we go. So they've got to spread it out. I'm assuming that the top of the skull is going to be many issues down the line, so you can't just do the first 10 and end up with the head. But yeah, let's see. Forces you to take your time, says Osric. Do the Conquest one. It's in the shop every 10 minutes. My house is full of them. Yeah, they come out every week, don't they? But they seem like they're... I know Fox is lagging behind. He's not doing one a week. He gets them delivered and then he's got other things on the go and doesn't actually get the chance to build them all up and get them going. So he's lagging a bit behind on that. And of course, if you do lag behind, it gets harder to catch up, because you might do a bit and then see the big pile of stuff, and then the pile just gets added to as more stuff comes out. So it's always tricky. Can't build them quick enough. Right. Go to little paper shops. They're only giving shops so many each. Yeah, I think normally the first 5 or 6 issues they'll get in. But after that, they'll only get them in if you place a regular order with them, because they don't obviously want to have to ship them back and send them back and things. So I think if you're doing it without subscribing directly, you'd still need to sort of subscribe to them from the shop. But if you subscribe directly, it doesn't cost any extra. They don't charge postage or anything. And they do give you some free gifts. What did I get? The first thing was the screwdriver set, which was pretty rubbish and doesn't actually fit most of the screws that we've been using so far. But it's free, you can't knock it. The big thing that they're giving away on the, I think, the 7th delivery or something, again, they don't want to do it way too quick, is the half-scale replica gun, the Terminator gun, which is going to look good with him obviously holding it, or even just put next to him in that on the display. It's probably going to need some work and tidying and weathering and modifications, but if you don't subscribe, you don't get it at all. It's not an optional extra, or you can't buy it in a shop, probably. So it's worth subscribing to get that, and it's just a worry of not having to worry about it. The 2nd and 3rd issues I got actually before the 3rd issue was available in the shop. This one was a bit after, so I'm hoping that the next one hopefully will come possibly just before the last issue in the pack is out and about. Is it nice to have them a bit early? But let's see. The 3 was in WH Smith, so I went into, says Jamie. Timber says, "Hi Chris, you have workbenches on all sides and the camera in front. How do you get in and out of the cave room?" Good question. Yeah, this is a corner. Obviously, there's a window there. The rest of the room is behind the camera there, and the camera is on top of a screen, which is on a little trolley, so I can move it around a bit. Look. So when I'm not actually making and talking to the camera and using the screen there, I just move it out of the way. So it's back against the wall over there, and there's more room in the room. Behind the scenes, secret. What have we got there? You have them in a tool bin, but if it's like a tank or something, people buy in bulk and sell them later on Evil Bay. Yeah, I think if they get too many of them, the first issue of all of these partworks is obviously cheap to get people to buy it, and it looks nice. It's got more in it than any other issue, and the Conquest, I bought the first issue, first 2 issues. The first one was like $1.99 or whatever, and you got 3 paints in it. It's like, I'll use them paints. It would have cost me about £6 or £7 to go and buy the paints, and they gave them to me that with some Space Marines, which I used. I ripped up one of the Space Marines and put a hamster head on it for my war hamster. So yeah, that got used as well. But yeah, they always do that to get them cheap, and then people try and sell them to make a profit on it. So they don't know how many people are actually subscribing to it for months to come, until it all settles down, really, I should assume. Osric says, I buy some extra copies of Conquest. I now have 3 Blight Haulers and loads of Plague Marines. I don't know what those things are. I built some Warhammer stuff, but I don't know anything about it. I bought the first 2 issues because they were the cheaper ones, and they came with paints. So I've got some. These are Plague something or others. I don't know what they are. I've got 3 of them, which I built and haven't painted. They're just sitting there and looking well, not pretty. They're just sitting there. I might well go around and paint them at some point, but I'm never going to play the game or do anything else with them, so I'm not really worried about. Little Barkley does for the parts. LD, I've given up on Conquest for the moment. Local shops stopped getting it in, and he's doing more Gunpla. Yeah, I should do another Gunpla at some point. I've got a couple. I think I've got 1 sitting in the cupboard over there, but yeah, I should do that. Joanna's taking my time. Everything is done as fast as I can without sacrificing quality. Just the way I work. But then again, the last model has been stuck for 9 months. LD says, the wife will go nuts if I sub and buy mech kits. Yeah, they should do a Gunpla part work. One of the big, massive, huge things with lights and everything on it. They could do that in 100 issues. People would buy that, no doubt. I don't know how much they actually cost to buy over the counter, as it were, but So, I am going to actually do something, I think, because, it's only me and you here, so I don't actually have to look at the camera too much. So I'm going to move it around a little bit. I moved the microphone again. So if the sound all goes now, that's my fault. I apologise. Let me turn the camera up a bit. What I'm going to do is a little bit of prep work, I think. I shall move the tugs out of the way. I have the Terminator. There we go. I can't get quite the same angle as I would normally get, but there we go. I'll move that around a little bit more. Move that out of the way. The Terminator arm piece, as I said, I need to tidy up the large thingy. I'm thinking piston, but it's not really a piston. It sort of is a piston. Yeah, probably. So I need to remove the screws from here, which I didn't tighten up fully. If you've watched the video, you'll notice that I didn't actually fully tighten them. It's not that one I need to do, is it? It's the other one on the other side. Let me put that back in a little bit. Undo this one. And remove that, and then put that back out of the way for now. So, yeah, you can see on here. There you go. Just catch the light with it. You can see the dodgy grind marks that they put on those, which is the same that was on the other one, and just isn't ideal. So I need to polish that down and get rid of that, make that look better. Now, the trouble with doing that, the trouble I had with the other one, eventually, if you polish it, it goes down to a brass. So you've got to be careful to get it down just enough to get rid of that without going too far. So what I did last time, and what I'll do again with this one, is use a Dremel to sort of polish and get rid of most of it, and then work in with some wet and dry paper and Duraglit and Brasso and polishing, just to make it a little bit nicer. So I'll prepare that for that. What I actually do need to do is take out the top piece. So I'm going to take the screw out the bottom there, where I had it all put together. Actually, no, I don't need to take that apart. I can use that as it is. So let me tighten that back up. There we go. So I will need to film that to do that for the channel, so I can get that ready to go for next time. While we're here, look, this is the Torox that I've been building and painting on Sundays. The last thing I did on it was some chipping, which doesn't come out very well because it's not wildly different colour. On Sunday, I will be going back in with a darker colour to pick out the detailed chipping and things on there. So, yeah, that's more work to be done. So I can't really do much more with that. The other thing that I'm working on is the mouse. Mice. There's two of them, so it's mouses, which are the 144 scale tanks that go with the giant Land Cruiser Rat thing, which I say are big for 144 scale. I've just painted them in a colour that looks about right. I don't know about exact, matches of Dunkelgelbs and things like that. But I'm not happy with the fit on some of the turret pieces are not quite right. I did add some sprue glue to them and tidy them down a bit, but I'm still not quite happy with how they've come out. So I'm going to go back in, and I'm going to do that now while I'm here. And basically, you can't really see it on the camera there. There's still some seam and unnecessariness in there, so I'm going to get rid of some of that. So there we go. Let's come back round to me mainly. The Fanta wagon, says Sergeant Bones. Yeah, it could be. When you've been tangoed. Joanna's got to go. Phone call. Yeah, thanks for popping in, Joanna. Nice to see you back. And yeah, don't be a stranger. See you around. I'm going to just be sanding this back down again. It will obviously need repainting afterwards, but I'll do it. There you go. You're sanding when you can hear it. Just to get rid of the edge from there. So I can still see what I'm doing. So, yeah, are you all working at the moment, or are you just sitting there watching me? Are you eating your food? We did have a quick what's on your bench and what's in your belly, but what's actually happening now live when you're watching me? Are you just really paying attention to me, or are you actually doing other things in the background? Because I'm not even paying attention to me. I'm doing things in the background. So I don't mind. You're allowed to. It's actually expected and approved that you don't pay too much attention to the man behind the curtain. Sergeant Bones says, food, eating, good. Good. Food. How's the sauerkraut? Is that all right? Pascal is making brain-breaking calculations with me talking in the background. Cool. That's better. I think I need to go down a little bit further down than that. Right. Festa says it's Raspberry Pi playtime. Oh, cool. Is that flashy lights or noises, Colin? Or both? LD's taking a few days off building. Yeah, I tend to do that. I'm quite deep into the Division on the Xbox at the moment. As you may have noticed, if you like and subscribe, Team Inept, me and Paul have been playing the Division a bit occasionally, and occasionally live streaming it. So if you like my wittering, make sure you're following Team Inept. That's youtube.com, Team Inept. We'll be doing another stream at some point, just playing around really. So yeah, follow that, subscribe to that. John's watching me as I'm back and forth to my bedroom to do more work on my project. Yeah, you probably said, but what's your project? Tell everybody about your project, assuming it's not a secret project. If it's a secret project and you're taking over the world or something, then don't tell it, because I want to be getting you in trouble for stuff. But if it's things that you can talk about, then remind me, because I don't remember things. It's tough trying to remember stuff. So yeah, it's like Fox says on the Monday night, you can't just say I'm eating pizza. We need more than that. So if you're working on a project, we need more than that. You probably already told us what the project is, but I don't remember, so you'll have to remind me. That's better. That's going to look nicer once I've repainted that one, so that's okay there. Osric is watching a bloke sand a tank. Yeah, some tanks need sanding, some tanks don't need sanding, but sometimes they need sanding again after you've done it and thought it would be okay when you put the paint on, and it wasn't. So yeah, weathering covers a lot of sins, but the trouble with doing things in 1/4/4 scale is weathering's very tiny. You can't just weather it lots because it wouldn't be like that in life. So you have to be somewhat careful as to how much weathering you put on the top of things. So you can get away with some, but not as much as you can on a larger scale or smaller scale, whichever way it works. I don't know which one's which. Let's see. Yes, video, etc. for an upcoming build, says Festa. Ooh. Raspberry Pi. Upcoming build. John is working on a 59 Caddy with Viper parts. This is the real world thing. This is the life size 1:1 scale thing. And that, yeah. I remember now. See, I do remember things. Normally after someone tells me about it again and reminds me, but yeah. Bradley C. Chris, if you could wake up tomorrow as a space marine, would you do it? I do like space, but the whole marine bit is a bit scary. I don't particularly want people to be shooting at me. I like to think that if I was forced into an action hero role or something, you know, like out and about and terrorists take over and you have to do, you know, I think I'd do that. But volunteering to stand in front of things and get blown up and stuff, I don't think I'd do that. So yeah, I'm Space Force maybe, but not a marine. Watching you or glancing at a duckbill platypus on TV. Don't get me and the duckbill platypus confused, because that's no good. And Speedy Q8 is here. He's back.
And they just
He's been on holiday and stuff, but he's back now.
Hello, everybody.
Well, everybody really is just me at the moment, but well, there's people in the chat. But
well, yes. Hello, everybody in the chat. I heard some talk about Raspberry Pis, and now I'm hungry.
Yeah, it's terrible, that, isn't it? Why do they name them after things that taste nice?
I know. It's disgraceful.
I could call it the Brussels sprout or something, and people would be less likely to want to eat it. Although I like Brussels sprouts.
Actually, yes, I do. I hated them as a kid. Love them now. I could eat them by the bowlful.
Yeah, unfortunately, the rest of the family don't like them, so they don't get bought very often. But when they do, I do like them.
No, that's a crying shame.
I don't like much other vegetable, but the sprout is the master of all vegetables, really.
I think the only one that I could really happily leave is cabbage. I never did like cabbage, and
I don't see the point in salad. I know it's not vegetables entirely, but
there's lots of meat with it.
Yeah, but that's just meat, isn't it?
Well, no, a few green bits as well. It's still.
Yeah, but you don't need the green bits. If you take the green bits away, you'd have room for more meat.
You would, but then that would be a meat.
That's all right. That's fine. It's good for you, or something.
Fine, I've got no problem with it, but it would stop being a salad at the point where you removed the salad.
Then you don't need to call it a salad anymore. Just call it a bacon sandwich, and you're done.
Well, you technically need bread for that.
Is that a salad ingredient, bread?
No, but to make it a sandwich, you need bread.
What if you put bacon and wrap it in more bacon?
Actually, yeah, if you're sandwiching it between more bacon, then maybe.
Well, KFC did that. They did their, I can't remember what they called it now, double burger or something, that didn't have bun. It was between two breaded chicken fillets.
That sounds quite nice.
It was like bacon and cheese between two of their normal chicken fillet things.
Ooh.
It sounds nice. It looked nice in all the pictures. But when you go and buy one and you think there's really no way of holding it that isn't going to just go apart the time you take the first bite of it.
Did they not give you like a little pocket to hold it in or something.
It was in a sort of wrappy type thing, but it wasn't substantial enough. It structurally wasn't sound. So
That's a shame, because that sounds very nice indeed.
I can't remember what they called it. It was a double something. It might have just been a double.
Ooh.
But yeah, it was all right. But you're better off just having 2 burgers and having the extra bread.
Yeah, but I think I'd like the ingredients, definitely. Chicken and bacon and
Chicken, bacon, and cheese. I think that was the main ingredients, with some sort of special barbecuey sauce. But bacon sandwich with bacon and a side of bacon, says Sergeant Bones.
Yeah, it was just going ever so slightly sort of off the subject, but still on the subject. The cafe down the road, that's no longer there anymore, sadly, used to do a chicken, cheese and pear sandwich, and it sounds like a weird combination, but oh my god, it was amazing.
Sorry, chicken, cheese and what?
Chicken, cheese and pear, grilled pear. So it was
hair.
It was pear that was shaved, had its skin stripped off, and it was sliced and just grilled slightly so it was warmed through.
All right.
And then chicken breast and cheese, and the thing was amazing. Absolutely amazing. It was my favourite sandwich for so long, and then the place just closed, and I was gutted.
Maybe they weren't allowed to sell hair.
I have no idea. No idea. It's a shame. And they also had a hot chocolate machine that did this. They sold it in little tiny espresso type takeaway cups, but it was proper sort of melted chocolate.
All right.
Ridiculously indulgent, but incredibly nice. Yeah, very good.
Let's see. Pascal's offering his assistance if you need help with programming for anything. Anybody? So there you go. That's all there. Only if you pass your exam tomorrow, though, because otherwise we wouldn't want your help.
Well, in that case, if Pascal's offering, which is very kind of him, I've got a Raspberry Pi Zero W that my son bought me for Christmas, which I would love to do something with, and I haven't got the foggiest what to do or where to start.
Well, there you go. You two need to get together and find something out.
Yeah, I'd like to sort of combine it with a model, and I have got a Ghostbusters Ecto one. So I was thinking if I could maybe combine it somehow with that to make the sirens and the
you need the flashy lights and the woo woo woo.
Yeah, that'd be kind of good. But I literally have no idea where to start. I know there's loads of YouTube videos and stuff, but I'd take it out of the box and look at it, and it's just a little board with an SD card slot and all these gubbins, and I think it looks really cool, but I've no idea what to do with it.
Yep. We're talking about Sprugrew's in saying hello, Christopher. I always feel like I've done something wrong when people call me Christopher. It worries me. John Paul's telling that Sprugrew, you've got no videos on your channel yet. You need more videos.
I will. I'll drop you a message, Colin. Thank you. As just said, email me regarding.
Right, yep. Sergeant Bones heard you say hair, not pear. So,
no, it wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't a hair sandwich.
I was thinking hair like rabbit.
All right.
Not hair like hair.
Yeah, but like hair off your head. That sounds like kind of you would have had on League of Gentlemen.
I thought that would go well with chicken and cheese.
Hair sandwich. But, I do live in the Scottish Highlands. Things like that are not unknown.
Well, that's why I assumed that was the case.
Yes, yeah. But no, definitely pear. It was more
pear, right. No, it doesn't appeal to me anymore.
It was really delicious. It was a strange combination. I'd never tried it if somebody hadn't said, "Oh, try one of these. They're really, really amazing." And truly.
Sergeant Bones says KFC that did the chicken burger without the bun. Yeah. It was a short time thing. It was something barbecue double burger or something. But yeah,
we need to know the name.
Osric is eating a chocolate cheesecake because I can. The best reason to eat a chocolate cheesecake, in fact, yes.
Yes, it is. Couldn't agree more. There's always a reason to eat cheesecake, any kind of cheesecake.
Sprugrew says he's not making videos because he's extremely shy and suck at modelling. Yeah, but you get over the shyness. Just do a couple of videos with hands, and then sooner or later you'll be showing your whole face to people. And the sucking at modelling, we all do that. Don't worry about that. People don't notice. If you can fix it in the editing.
Yeah. The trick is, as you're filming it, when you mess up, every time you mess up, say, look at that, I've messed up because I'm on camera. I do it perfectly all the time when I'm not on camera. And you've just got to sound convincing enough and everyone believes you.
Absolutely. Colin's saying in the gross chat to you at speed.
I will check that out as soon as I can, but I am currently using my phone that I get the group chat on to do
Pascal says that Festa's already offering help, but they're arguing over they can both help you. You'll have help coming out of places you didn't know you had places.
Marvellous. Well, if they can give me some good pointers, I would appreciate it.
I'm pretty sure you'll be okay there, yeah.
I haven't got a clue where to even start. I know the basic concept of sticking an operating system on an SD card and whacking it in the thing from a couple of videos I've watched, but that's as much as I know. That's my summer knowledge of Raspberry Pi programming.
Colin's got a screen. I've just seen the picture he sent you. Some sort of screen with something on it, but I can't really make it out. It's all the way over there.
Right. Cool.
But yeah, when later you'll be able to have a look at that and see what's what. And Pascal, if you want, I'm sure you can find Spiddy online and stuff and talk to him. He's around.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know his channel. You can get to him through there, can't you?
Yeah, you can do that, or in the Boom Huts, of course.
In the Boom Hut, yeah, but you're not Spiddy in the Boom Hut.
I'm not. No.
So that confuses people because you're different people in different places.
I like to maintain an air of mystery.
Yeah, but that makes it harder when people are trying to find you. In a good way, not when people are trying to find you for bad reasons.
It's good for a lot of reasons, actually. But yes, I get that.
Yeah. John's been building for 50 plus years and still make mistakes. You should have a rest. You shouldn't build for that long at a time. You definitely need a nap. You'll be tired.
Without a break, there's no wonder. Yeah.
Sprugu recently built a 1/72 Spitfire and compared it to one I made when I was 8. I couldn't tell the difference. That might mean you were really good when you were 8. That's okay. Probably.
That's actually an interesting point, because the last few times I built an aeroplane, while I knew that the paint was better because I airbrushed them as opposed to brushing them like I did when I was a kid. So I know that the paint was better because they were airbrushed, you know. That aside, I probably didn't notice any real difference with the building of, apart from glue didn't sploosh everywhere, because obviously I used Mia Thin now compared to that crappy tube stuff that you did when you were young. But the one area where when I started modelling again, the one area I did notice I'd improved was with the motorbike and car stuff, because it's a noticeable difference when you're doing shiny with an airbrush and you're polishing and you're using polishing compounds and micro mesh and all that kind of thing, to when you're brushing with Humbrol enamels, when you build a car and you're brushing with Humbrol enamels. So, but no, with the aeroplanes, I didn't really notice a vast difference. So, in the actual building side of things, anyway.
Yeah, Pascal says you can just PM him on the Discord or on Facebook, same name as here. See, some people just have one name and get on with it.
Marvelous. I'm not on the Discord, am I? That's
I don't know. You can be.
Team Inept thing, is it?
No, there's a Boom Hut Discord, the Boom Hut sofa.
All right. No, I don't think I am. I keep hearing about this Discord thing, but I don't think I am. I
keep forgetting to look at it, but occasionally someone pings everybody in it, and I get a notification and think, oh yeah, Discord.
It was something to do with gaming, because I know my son's on one to do with gaming, and
I think it's designed as a gaming thing, and it's like an old-fashioned message board type thing. It's just a free-for-all chat thing that anyone can get into if you've got the links to it and stuff. But they also do voice chat on some of it as well, which obviously is where it comes in useful for the games.
Gaming, yeah. Okay.
I'm the only one ever pushing to the Discord, says Pascal. Ah, right, it's you that makes it beep at me. Right, I'll remember. I have a question. Srugu made me think of the question. He's put in there, Pascal's put a link to the Discord, which I shall put in there. So that's there.
Oh, yeah.
Sprugu says recently built the 1/72 Spitfire. Now, he's put 1/72. I tend to put colons.
Yeah.
Which is they're technically both right.
oddly, I used to use colons if I typed on the computer, but then when I sort of transferred to the smartphone and tablet and
All
stuff,
right.
I started using the slash on those simply because it's closer and easier. Because because the keyboard's on your screen and it's tiny, and you've got to go into your
Yeah.
symbols keyboard to select the colon or the @ symbol and all that gubbins. There's a little shortcut key which gives you a selection of maybe 6 things like a
All right,
high
and that's one of them.
score and all that kind of thing. And one of
Hmm.
those is /. So I started using that just because it's a case of long press and hit that rather than going to the little thingy menu.
I've just looked at the Tacom the rat and mouse box over there at 144, and it's got a slash. It's 1/144. So I'm technically that's 1/144, isn't it? So it's showing it as a fraction.
I suppose technically that is right, but then
Which is correct, but also the 1/2/144
colons, because it's 1, 2, yeah, or 1
is correct as well, but they're sort of opposite, aren't they? Technically, one.
I don't know. I mean, everybody knows what you mean, don't they?
Yeah, I mean either way works. But if you've got it as a fraction 1/144th, then that's saying that the model kit is smaller than the real thing.
That's kind of got me wondering. I am sure I'm going to be checking all my boxes now. I'm sure I've seen on a box colons.
Colons would technically mean it's the other way round, wouldn't it? Because it's saying 1, 2.
Ah, yeah. Here we go. Look, hang on.
No, that's saying it's the right way round as well. Yeah.
Hang on. I'm just gonna.
What have you got?
Right over here. If you see all the Tamiya boxes,
Yep,
they're all with a slash /.
No, I can't make them out. It's all just pixelated.
It's hard to see, but
we can see the names, but I can't.
All have a slash. But on the Revell ones, we've got the colon. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, I can see that. It's bigger.
Yeah. So I thought I had seen it on one of the boxes. So technically, I guess they're both correct in that case.
Yeah, well, I mean, technically they are, because it is a fraction. The model kit is 1/144th of the size of the real thing.
Yes.
But it's also done as 1 is equal to 144th of the real thing, which is also the same. 1 corresponds to whatever the colon technically means. Spruglu says that new school is $1.72. And he also says, I wish I hadn't said anything now.
Same on the Airfix as well.
Yeah, colon.
This is one that my son bought me, which I've got to build yet. I need to be in the mood for the aeroplane things, but interestingly with this one, it's not an aeroplane I knew anything about, so I did a little bit of reading about it to see how I was going to build it. And one of the decal schemes that comes in this box is a bomber that was based at an airfield near Yorkshire.
All right.
Which was near where my dad grew up.
Cool.
So I think I'm probably going to build it as that one, which would be kind of nice. So, but yeah, that's got the colons as well.
Yeah, I think they're both correct. It's just different. Strangely enough, when I'm putting stuff on my YouTube channel, I tend to use colons because that's just how I like to do it. But when I'm putting stuff on the eModels page, I use the slash because that's the way they've done all their other things.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, looking at all that, it seems that all the Japanese ones I've got in my collection use a /. And I've got a monogram kit down there, which is colons, Airfix is colons, and Revell is colons. So it's like all the Japanese ones use the slash.
It might be, maybe, yeah.
European ones and American ones seem to use the colons. How strange.
I just noticed that you've got on your bench there a couple of painting handles. Are they ones you printed?
Oh yes, yeah. These
they're not black like the normal Citadel ones.
Did I not show you these before?
I don't think I've seen them before. No.
No, I thought they're really cool. They've got this little bit here, which is a rest, so you can.
All right, for hands.
So you can sort of rest on that while you do your little tweaky little detail thingamabob, which works very well. It's just that my hand doesn't. But that actually works surprisingly well, and it swivels about, and you can pop it in and out as well. So you can pop that out and swing that right round to the other side of the thing. The whole thing's printed with these pins and then a couple of rubber bands.
All right. I was going to say, how is it sprung?
Yeah, just a couple of rubber bands to spring that across, and it is also modular, and the handle unscrews like so. So you can take that bit off completely.
Yep.
If you don't want it, and then you can also print a bottle cap holder. So the bottle cap holder has got a larger thread which accepts pop bottle caps.
All right, yep.
So you can save pop bottle caps to stick loads of your miniatures on if you're painting loads, and just screw them straight onto the bottle cap holder.
All right.
Which I thought was quite a novel idea. So I guess if you've got some of the really tiny ones, if you've got loads and loads of them and you're painting an army, you could blue tack them all onto bottle caps or whatever, and then just quickly screw them off, screw them on, kind of thing. But yeah, quite like this. It's pretty nifty. It's Thingiverse, £1,000 Thingiverse.
I'll have a nose.
Yeah,
and I've printed in it for a while, so it's about time I did another print.
Yeah, absolutely. I can send you the link in a little while. But the only thing I had problems with were the pins and these holes. I had to remount the holes a little bit.
All right.
Because, well, it's just, you know yourself with nature of 3D printing.
It wasn't quite, yeah.
But they're tight fitting, which I guess is better than loose fitting. But you can also, it says on the thing, you can use I think it's M8 or M10 bolts, like little Allen head bolts.
Yeah.
If you've got some of those, you can just screw some of those in instead. It does the same job. It's just hold the base.
So you can obviously take them pins out and put them in different positions for different things that you. Yeah.
Yeah. All these are little holes.
That's quite cool.
And you can put them wherever. So if you've got something with a massive base, you can, put them right on the extreme outside edges. But yeah, they're pretty cool, I thought. Because I was going to get one of the Citadel handles, and I saw them, and I thought, oh, why not? I've got a 3D printer, might as well print them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's one of the pins just popped out. But, yeah.
How long does it take to print them? Obviously, it's in 3 or 4 bits, but...
Yeah. Well, the clampy bit, you've got the base that screws on, which is a separate bit, the handle, and then the clampy bits, which are 2 separate bits.
Mm-hmm.
The longest bit was the base, obviously, because there's lots of layers and doesn't need a lot of infill. So there is that, but there's the height of that one. I think that was probably about 3.5 hours, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say 2 or 3 hours. So
yeah, something like that. And the rest of it wasn't too long. Maybe, you don't
have to go super high fine quality either, do you? So
no, you don't. I mean, you can do it on that was on a 0.2 mil layer height, just your bog basic standard draft settings. So it doesn't have to look pretty; it just has to work, doesn't it?
Yeah. And the movable bits obviously are a bit more fine tolerance, so you might have to get them a bit closer.
A little bit, yeah. But like I said, there's quite a lot of sort of if you look at that bit there, it's like a dovetail joint, and it's not super tight. So
there's a bit of leeway, a bit of give.
Yeah, there's a little bit of wiggle on there. So when you've got an elastic band on, it's it's good enough. Yeah, absolutely. And there's quite a few painting handle designs, but this one was the one that I thought looked the nicest out of them all. It looks sort of closest to the Citadel one and seems to work well.
Yeah, I'll have a look, or if you find the link, you can post it onto me, because otherwise I'll probably forget.
I'll send you the link. I will.
Thank you. Right.
Yes, quite nifty, I thought.
And you haven't finished your cappuccino yet?
No, I am trying to get the oomph required to sit there and complete it. There's next to nothing to be done to finish it. I've got a couple of little bits. I've got to stick the door mirrors on. I've got to paint the door handles and the little air intakes on the side. I've got to spray the rear lights, which I've got on there, and the indicators. And then just literally a couple of tiny little touch-ups here and there. And I'm going to sort of dust up the underside a little bit so it's not quite so pristine and clean. Because I don't like super shiny clean underneaths on cars. Having been a mechanic in the past, it just doesn't look right.
Yeah, I mean, when they're in a showroom, they look like that, but as soon as you drive them away, they don't.
That's it. I mean, when a car is literally brand spanking new, they're clean underneath, but even then, they're never so super shiny. And it's like it's one of those things I'm really funny with. When I see a shiny car build, and then I see the underneath of it, and the underneath is as shiny as the top, I just think, oh no, that's not right.
I think Sergeant Bones has had enough. He's warning me that there's 15 minutes left. So yeah, so I wouldn't want to overshoot the 90 minutes because that would be terrible. Because yeah, no, thank you. I'm keeping an eye on it. Have you had enough? Is that what you're saying, or are you concerned for my longevity or my beauty sleep that I need? Because I'm still planning on going and playing the Division for a little while afterwards. So
the Division, that's the shooty thing, isn't it?
The shooting, yeah.
It sounds like a football game, but it's a shooting.
Yeah, no, it's a end of the world thing, and people have to. You're an agent that's been like a sleeper agent, but for everything. But I don't quite understand the reasoning behind it.
Right.
You're only cool when the things get really bad.
Is that the one? I watched a very tiny bit of one of them, and was it the one that Paul had a pink gun in?
Oh, quite likely, yes. Yeah, that
Yes.
doesn't really narrow it down. Paul likes to have a pink gun in most things.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because I remember Fox joining and saying, "Which one's Paul?" Oh, that was a stupid question. I see a pink gun.
Yeah, that was the one. Yeah, yeah. We did a stream on my channel actually to promote the Team Inept channel.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, it won't happen very often, but occasionally I might do the occasional video of gameplay and stuff. But Sergeant Bones says it's because I always do 90 minutes, and B, the Division awaits you. Indeed, the Division does await me. Yeah, the backstory of the Division is very clever and interesting. It's a manufactured virus that they put onto dollar bills just before Black Friday.
Oh, nasty.
So it went mental throughout America and apparently probably global eventually somehow, but it obviously it flu-like symptoms, but then basically killed lots of people. So yeah.
That's. I suppose it would, thinking about it, because not
really
only Black Friday sales, you'd have people sort of grabbing money, going to the airport, getting on airplanes, going on ships, going, and
it's a Tom Clancy branded thing because he does all these things. The original Rainbow Six book and game were a similar sort of thing. It was like a virus that was created, and they actually.
Is it based on a book then, or is it just a game?
No, this is just a new premise, but he's done lots of similar sort of things. Rainbow Six was the first game that he did, which was a team of elite agents from worldwide going in and taking out terrorists from different scenarios. But the book of that was interesting, and that was a virus that someone created that they released at the Olympics. It was like I can't remember. The Olympics were in a hot country, and they had some sort of misting station throughout the arenas that misted, cool water, so people go through and just
it turned everyone into zombies.
Better. And I think it killed them all, or something to them. But that was a thing that was they stopped before it happened. But it was if you do it at the Olympics that people have come to from all over the world.
Yes.
And if it's got a day's or 2 days.
Yeah, and then of course they all head back to their countries.
Then it would just cover the entire planet in very short order.
It reminded me of there's one of the Dan Brown books, the Da Vinci Code guy.
Yeah.
There's one of those books where I quite enjoyed it because it had a bit of a twist to the ending, whereas normally the hero saves the day, stops the disaster, finds out who's doing the plotting or whatever. And it involves a scientist who has created a virus which is going to thin the world's population because the world is going to have an overpopulation problem in X number of years and it won't be able to cope and blah, blah, and all the rest of it. So, of course, in your head, you're thinking it's created a virus that is going to kill people off in like a random selection kind of way. And the whole thing goes through the story to finding this virus, to ultimately discovering that the time that the virus is going to be let loose in the water supply, I think it is somewhere, but the time that it's going to be let loose in the water supply actually turns out to be the time that it would have already dissipated throughout the water supply. So when they get there, they find it's already been released.
Yeah.
So they're actually too late. It's already gone out there. But the virus works in such a manner that it doesn't actually kill off people that are here now. It causes infertility in a certain percentage.
I've read that one. Yeah, sterilization sort of thing.
Yeah, and I thought that's actually really clever. So it's not like some mad sort of psycho scientist dude who's killing people randomly, but he's actually putting something in place that is going to make it
affect 90% of the population or whatever. And,
it's going to change the population in future generations. And I thought that was really clever, that, because of course you expect them to get there, find the thing, and disarm it before it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If ever I have to create a bomb with a timer on it, I'm not going to have it making beepy noises and flashing lights.
And you're going to make it explode at 3 seconds.
Yeah, you'd have it explode at 3 days before the timer runs out or something. Why would you put a timer that? No,
you'd set it to at least 3 seconds because they always diffuse it when it's like 3, 2, or 1 second, don't they?
I just wouldn't have a timer on it at all, and I wouldn't have flashy lights, and I wouldn't make it beep every second. Because
the beeping I understand because obviously what's that beeping noise?
Yeah, exactly. You don't need that.
Don't mind it. But
Spruger is asking if the Division is the one where people take 15 headshots and still don't die. At least that normally, yes. But it's a computer game. There are computer games that are realistic and one headshot will take people down. And with certain weapons and certain situations, you can one headshot people in this game. But most of the time, it takes more than one bullet to put people down. But it also takes more than one bullet to put you down because otherwise it would be over very, very quickly.
Yeah. I suppose that's the thing with realistic games. If somebody's shooting back at you, then one shot is likely going to incapacitate you at least.
Yeah. So I mean, and you can't. There is no magic health bucket that you can pick up and feel better straight away. And it doesn't work like that in real life. And games can be realistic, but there's got to be a line between realism and fun.
Yeah.
So,
that makes sense.
John's saying Division looks like a good game. It really is. Most games are repetitive at some point because at the very basic level, you are doing the same thing over and over again, be it a platform game or a puzzle game or a shooter, where basically you've got to go somewhere, shoot some people, protect something, or unlock a thing, or find a thing, and then on your way back out, more bad guys are going to turn up and you're going to have to shoot your way back out of there again. You know it's going to happen. You know there's going to be waves of enemies, and but ultimately the creators, Bungie, the creators of Halo, did it best initially. They were the first people to really sort of tie it down and say, yes, this is that, 3 minutes of fun repeated. But when you're in those 3 minutes of fun, you don't care.
Yeah, I think that's the hook, isn't it, with computer games? It's while you're doing it, you're actively engaged all the time. So even though you're doing this technically the same thing, you are actively engaged, and you've got slight variances in the scenario.
I mean the Division is you find stuff, you equip yourself better, you go and do harder missions, you equip yourself better, you go and do harder missions. But the environments are so different. The game is based in DC, but they've done it in such a way that everything is this game is set sort of 7 months or something after the first game, which was set at Christmas.
Right.
So everything is still set up for Christmas.
This is like 28 weeks later versus 28 days later.
Yeah. But I mean, the first game was winter and cold and snow and everything. But this one, everything's still Christmassy, but it's summery because it's been, big emergency. They haven't been putting away the Christmas decorations.
Obviously, putting away the Christmas decorations is not top of the priority list.
No, not really. And there's rubbish lining the streets and everything, and it's a horrible looking place. But some of it is really nice, and some of the locations you go into a museum. There's one level that is in the Air and Space Museum. That's the one that we played through, I think. And there's like space shuttles and helicopters and planes and things, and you're going through an exhibit. There's another one where there's a recreation of the Vietnam jungle, because it's again in a museum type environment or that sort of thing. So they've brought that in and made it fit into the overall story, but making each level
that alternative terrain. Yeah.
So
yeah, I can understand why they're addictive. I mean, one of my son's favourite ones is Assassin's Creed, or various Assassin's Creeds. And I mean, I've sat and watched him play that, and of course, from a watcher's point of view, it's very repetitive. It's a guy with a cloak and a hood who sneaks around stabbing people with a hidden knife up his sleeve, and going around trying to find clues to things. And it is very repetitive to watch, but I can understand it's much more engaging to actually play.
Very much so. And the thing with Assassin's Creed and Division and all that, the one more bit sort of mentality is very hard to get out of when you're playing. It's like, I'll just do this mission and then I'll pack up. But when you do the mission, just outside of the mission area, there's a box over there. I can go and open that. And then and when you open that, it's like, oh, well, someone's calling for help just over there. I better go and take care of that before I log off. And, oh, well, when I've done that, there's another mission just here that started here. And it's very easy.
Like that really good book where you just go, oh, just one more chapter.
Just one more, and one more, and one more, and one more.
Just the boxes and things. A friend of mine, when I lived back down in Yorkshire, I remember being around there. He had one of I think it was original PlayStation, and he'd got a game called Metal Gear Solid.
Yep.
I think it was. And the character in it is this soldier type guy who ran around killing people, surprisingly, like you do. And his disguise, his stock disguise,
hiding in a
cardboard box. And he just sort of like dropped to the floor and this cardboard box appeared over him. And so somebody would say, what was that? And he'd drop to the floor and they'd turn around and go, oh, it's okay, it's just a cardboard box. Like, yeah, of course that'd happen.
Well, many of the traditional things that happen in games wouldn't happen in real life. I mean, when you're... I was way back when, even before Metal Gear, I was playing the Thief game where you were a thief hiding in shadows and everything else. And there was a guard and you could shoot him with your bow and arrow and he'd get shot through the arm or something. And it'd be like, oh, what was that? And he'd look around for a couple of minutes and then be like, oh, no, it must have been the wind. It's like, no, you got an arrow sticking out your arm.
Through his arm.
But if you hid for long enough, then he'd just go back to his default standing, waiting, guarding, but a little bit weaker because you might be able to kill him with your next arrow. But it's like, no, that wouldn't actually happen like that. But
no, I think it'd be a bit busy going, ow,
ow,
ow.
An arrow, no, that doesn't help. Right, well, we've got 2 minutes left, so it's time for me to wrap up because otherwise Sergeant Bones will be cross that I'm still here, and past my 90 minutes, he'll be all sad and he's got things to do, no doubt. And I've got things to go and play games, Xbox. Yeah, thank you, Spid, for coming in and joining me.
You're very welcome. No problem at all.
I would have been on my own, but I was on my own last week. It's fine. Although I did a short show because, on my own. Yes. But we'll see next week. If you're about, you're welcome to come back and join me, or anybody else that happens to be watching or joining in. Feel free. Thank you all for watching. That's the most important thing. You've all been most welcome coming in and watching. Good luck with your exam tomorrow, Pascal, if you're still about.
Sergeant Bones for keeping a check on Chris and making sure he behaves.
Yeah. There's still 12 seconds left, so we're okay. thank you all. Apparently, I've got a cuppa to make, says my wife. So yeah, I've got to go and do that when I log off here. So
Important stuff first.
yeah, the
Yes.
important stuff first. I'll do that, and then I'll get the Xbox on. So yeah.
Marvelous.
So yeah, thank you all for joining me. It's Thursday, so the next thing is the Warhamster on Sunday night. Well, there's Foxy's on Sunday. I don't know if it's a sprue crew thing this week. Was that last week? Or was that this week? I don't know. There's the regular stuff that you do and watch. So go and do that. But my next thing. Sorry?
I've lost touch with this recent holiday. I don't know where I'm at the moment.
Yeah. Everything just blurs together when you get to a certain age anyway. So yeah. My next thing is the Warhamster on Sunday, which hopefully last week worked in the right place. So hopefully this week will again be in the normal place on the youtube.com/grossmodels/live. And you can't put colons in there. It doesn't work. You have to use the slash.
Are you still on the Torox for that?
I'm still on the Torox for that. It is here. Yep. I decaled it up last week and started doing some
I haven't been able to catch up on any of the last week's stuff yet because it's just been a bit.
Yeah. So yeah, I've got to do some more detailed chipping, which is going to be interesting to watch. I think. I don't know. We'll see how it works. Sergeant Bone says yes, Sprue Crew. So Saturday is the Sprue Crew over on their channel. So go and watch that. Right. And then Sunday
at this time,
Fox in the afternoon, me in the evening, and then Mondays or E-models normal, and then we're back here this time next week. Well, an hour and a half ago this time next week. Yeah. So thank you all. I'm going to click the stop broadcasting button. So
good night all. Thank you.
See you soon. Bye bye.